My Detective Jester is done, and now I'm going to tell you how the heck I made it. I'm going to go ahead and let you know all the patterns that I used are going to be linked below if they are available. I noticed when I was looking some stuff up earlier that not all of them are available anymore, but I'll link everything that I have down below. And as always, if you have any questions, be sure to leave them down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. To start off with my Jester cosplay, I had basically the fabrics I wanted for everything. I thrifted everything, but I wanted a dark green for the cloak to really emulate her level 1 cloak that she has. All of the colors that I use actually pulled from her level 1 design because I thought that would be a really kind of fun nod to her character. But the color I wound up dyeing it was a little bit more faded than I wanted, but really worked in the grand scheme of things for like the general vibe of the cosplay. So I dyed it using Rit dye, Truly Green, and Dark Green. I really recommend Rit dye. This stuff is amazing. I washed it with cold water, threw it in the washing machine, ran it through, and then threw it in the dryer and began working on the cape itself. To do this, I specifically wanted patterns that emulated Sherlock Holmes. And for whatever reason, finding a Sherlock Holmes style cape was very difficult for humans, so I wound up settling for one that was a dog cape that I sized up, probably a little bit bigger than I needed to, but I wasn't entirely sure. And in the end, I really actually like how it looks. So I went with a dog cape, sized it up, and then I sized it down for Sprinkle when I made him. I had this really lovely light green fabric that had been laying around. It was an old sheet that I had gotten from something that I had planned to use as like mock-up fabric, and instead it worked really great because I could use it as the lining for all of my stuff with Jester that I was doing that needed green fabric. Originally, this was going to be a very simple design with just not a lot of frills, just the basic items, and yet as I continued creating it and digging around in my workroom, I discovered that I had all of these additional items laying around. So I slowly added details that I wasn't expecting to every single thing, such as with both the waistcoat and the capelet, I added all of this trim that was left over from when I did Fighter Jester. I added these handmade little tie strings that I made using the same plaid that I was using for everything else for Jester, because I thought it would be a nice fit instead of having to get a completely different type of string. And then from there, I created the hat using another pattern. This one was for an American Girl doll. And I kept the size exactly as it was because I wanted a small one for Jester's head, I wanted a small one for Sprinkles, and it worked out. And then from there, I began creating the waistcoat and the dress. These needed a couple of modifications because, again, I made it a lot fancier than it was. I was using an old sheet for the dress that had this really nice detail at the bottom. It was like it was a bed skirt. And I really wanted to keep that detail because it was flowers. So I lined up my pattern so that I could have that at the bottom of all the parts of the dress. I did a roll to hem for all of my edges with this, which was really complicated because of how thick some of the fabric got, so my poor sewing machine really struggled with some of it. Everything has a zipper to attach it. I hand painted the shoes using an acrylic and a fabric paint that I mixed together to make a lighter green to match more the green that was on Jester stuff, because originally I was going for an emerald green, and when that didn't work out, I really wanted to keep with this kind of more muted pastel look. But that was basically it. Here's the final result. Really proud of how it looks, I can't lie, and I'm so excited to shoot her later in the year.